Okay, now, so in the last video, I was on this particular topic, how we can access each element of array. So we have used a for loop. We have given the counter as 0. We are checking whether it is less than the length. Yes, it is less than the length of this array. It will go inside, print the value, and then increment that counter by 1. Again, go back. So it will be I is equal to 1. I is less than b dot length. B dot length is 4. It is less than 4. It will go inside, print it, and then again it will go back as I is equal to 2, still less than 4, print it. So this will happen until unless I values becomes 4. When I value becomes 4, it is not less than the length. It will go out of the for loop and it will only print these 4 values. Now same thing you can do using for each loop. So we can say we can say int I colon b, and instead of this way I will only print I. So I will comment this out. Now I will print this. It should print the same records. Okay, perfect. Now for the interest of time, what I will do is I will create this way so that I don't have to write again and again. So I'll say values as 4 comma 8 comma 56 comma 35 comma 78 comma 100 comma 101 comma 33 comma 56 again 56 53 and 99. Okay, now if I print, I can see all these values one by one. Okay, now my problem statement is I want to print only the values which are even numbers. So I want to print 8, 56, 78, 100. That's it. Okay. So I'll show you how we can do that. To print even numbers from the given array. Okay. I will, so I cannot use for each loop because each loop can only be used when you want to access all the elements. But in this case, we don't want to access all the elements. So I would not be using for each loop. I will be using loop, for loop, not for each. So I will just copy paste, and inside this, I just need to put a condition if. So what I will do is I will put the information this way, remove this, I will comment out upper one. Now the condition says if, so let's say I is equal to 0. So if b I, we say modulus 2 is equal to 0. That means if the bi, so the when the I is 0, the b0 means the first element 5. 5 modulus 2 is 0. No, it's not 0. So it should not print it. So it will only print if that value modulus 2 is equal to 0, it will print. So let's say now if I run this program, so it has only print 8, 56, 78, 100. Yeah, perfect. Now if I want to print only the odd values, so I will just change this as not equal to. So how do you say not equal to? Okay, I will comment this one out and see what is the output now. It is 535, 101, 33, 59, 53 and 99. Okay, now let's say my problem statement is to print, to calculate the sum of all elements inside the array. Now this array has these many values. I want to calculate what is the sum of all these values. Okay, so in that way, how can I do that? Again, Now in this case, I want to access each and every element, so I can use for loop, for each loop. Okay, so this is my for each loop. Let's say before that I will comment this out, and I don't now I will access this. Uh, I will not print the out this thing. What I will do, I just need to calculate. So how can I calculate it? So let's say if I have a in some variable whose value is 0. Okay, inside this, all I have to do is sum is equal to sum plus I. Okay, and after this, I can say sum, I can print sum. So let's say what it gives me. It gives me 56, 568, sorry, 568. Now let's example, inside this for each loop, if I want to print sum as well, it will give me sum of each two elements. So in the first interaction, it will give me 5. In next interaction, it will give me 5 plus 8, 13. And in next, it will give me 5 plus 8 plus 56. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, you see. So first time, first element. Next time, 5 plus 8, 13. And then next time, 13 plus uh, 56, it is 69. So what I can do is I can also print out I as well. So how can I say that the element of array is, and then I. Now look, so first time the element of array is 5. I will expand this. First time the element of array is 5, the sum is 5. Next time the element is 8. So 8 plus 5 is 13. After that, the next element is 56. So 56 plus 13, 69. Then next element is 35. 35 plus 69, 104. So this way I'm calculating sum. So what I'm doing is I am traversing all the elements of array and I'm adding to the sum variable. So first time sum is 0. Okay. The first iteration sum plus first variable, that is 5. Now the value of sum is 5. Next time it will 5 sum plus the next value. So 5 plus 8. I hope you're able to understand it. This is how we can calculate the sum of all elements inside the array. Okay. Now the next problem statement is, let's suppose you want to create an array of string. Okay, so you want to create an array which will hold the names of, I mean, instead of integers, it should hold names. So how can I do that? So I will write, so array of strings. In Java, names we can hold as string. So I will say string s is equal to, let's say, I can give this way a shortcut. Okay. Now I have to give name. So let's say I give Java, comma. I'm giving in quotes because string you can only give in double quotes. Java, let's say Python. Then I'm saying JavaScript, and then I can also say Scala, and then the last I can say uh, Ruby. So I'm creating an array of some programming languages. Okay. Now, if I want to print all these values, I will use for each. So inside for each, the first I have to give a variable. So in above example, I have used int I because it was integer array. In this way, I will say string s colon, not, I cannot give s because s I'm using here. So let's say, uh, okay, I will use s, but I will change the name of this. So let's say programming lang. I know it's a big name, but let's use it. So I will give the array name and I will print the S, the counter. So what it will do is, before that I need to comment this out. Now I am expecting list of all programming languages. So I'm getting Java, Python, JavaScript, Scala, Ruby. Okay, sweet. Okay, now let's say how to print values of array in reverse order. So now I want to print Ruby first, Scala second, JavaScript, Python, and Java this way, right? The reverse order. So it's again simple. We cannot use for each loop because for each is from the index 0 to the last index. So I will use for loop, but there would be a bit of catch. So inside we have to use let's say programming language and I. This is a standard form which we do, right? But what we should write here? So first we say int I is equal to. Okay. Now I cannot use I is equal to 0. I want to start from the last, right? We use I counter for the indexing. So we use 0 because the starting index is always 0. But what is the last index? In this array, the size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So this last index is 4, right? So I can use 4 here. And then I is greater than equal to 0 because we want to go back. So going back, we need to say I minus minus. Okay, let's see what it prints. Okay, Ruby, Scala, JavaScript, Python, and Java. Okay, it's working. Now, but the thing is that I have hard coded this value. Now, what will happen if I add a different language here? Let's say if I add, what is the next programming language? C sharp. Okay, C++, let's say C++. Now, if I run this, it will still give me Ruby, Scala, JavaScript, and Python and Java. So it's not starting from last, it's starting from this because I have hard coded this value. So why not I don't hard code this value, I make it dynamic. So 4 is what? Is actually the last index. It was last index. How did we calculate? We know the size is 4. I mean the size is 4. So the last index is size minus 1. So what I will do is I will first calculate the size or the length of this array. So I will say programming lang dot length, okay, and then minus 1. Now it is a dynamic way. C++, Ruby, Scala, JavaScript, Python, Java. Okay, so this is how you print the values of array in reverse order. Okay, now what I will do is, so we have covered single dimensional array. Since I'm just covering basics, so I will not go to multi-dimensional arrays, but I will just quickly show what are the disadvantages of arrays. So first of all, the disadvantage of array. So I'll say disadvantages of array. Okay, I will of course change this to comments. So first is it is fixed in size. Okay, it is fixed in size. That means once I have given this particular code, that means the size of this programming lang array is 6. I cannot change it. I mean, of course, I can go there and add a value here, but if I want to add after this line, I cannot add because it's a fixed size. So for example, let's say you have a requirement where you are expecting 50 variables. So you will create a variable, you will create an array of 50 size. But what if you get 51 variables? You cannot accommodate the last variable. Okay. And suppose if you have got only 10 variables, so that means you have a array of 50 size, but you have only got 10 variables. So for the rest 40 places in memory would be wasted. So if we use arrays, it's not growable. We cannot dynamically grow the size of array. So that is one advantage. The second advantage I have mentioned is um, memory management. Okay, it's not very good. Okay. The next is only contains homogeneous pardon for my smelling, homogeneous elements means if I have given let's say this int a, okay, I'm storing all the values of integer type, but what if I give 9.8? It is showing me error because it says type mismatch, because this is a integer array. I cannot store decimal values. Okay. Same way, inside this string arrays, if I want to add, let's say if I say what do I say? Instead of giving a string, I will give integer 4. So again, it will give me error. Okay, so that means only similar types of data we call it a homogeneous. Only similar type of data we can store inside the one particular array. So that is the advantage. We want to have a collection or a array which host multiple values but can also host different types of values. But with arrays we cannot do that. So that is the uh, disadvantage of arrays. The next disadvantage is no ready-made method support available. Okay, that means in arrays, whatever operation we want to perform, we have to create logic. We have to create, I mean, the right code to do that. We don't have automatic ready-made support available from arrays because it's not class. It's an array of primitive. So that is also a disadvantage. That is, we cannot use any methods on array because that's not a class. Okay, so that is a fourth disadvantage. So these are the main disadvantages of arrays. Okay, now in Java we have a concept of collections. So next thing what we want to learn is collections. So collections will address all these types of disadvantages. Okay, so in next video we will see how collection solves these types of problems and what are the advantages using collections in Java.